morning. We're here with Jim, I think. No, he can't hear us, but he's here. So, how are y'all doing this morning? We're here with, let's see, we got some comments going on. Good morning, Justin. We have an angler on already. We have Mr. Sam Jones with the Indianapolis Knights here to join us. So, we'll get him in here while Jim works with his headphones. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Doing well. How are you this morning, Lisa?
I'm good. How's your morning going so far?
Well, we literally just got started. I just made my first cast, and looking forward to the day. Going to enjoy a little break from the heat for about 30 minutes, and then I'm sure it's going to be blazing hot. So as soon as that sun gets up, it is the dog days of summer down here in Alabama.
Is that where y'all are fishing?
Yep, we're down here on Neely Henry facing off against the undefeated Alabama Hammers, and a crucial match for our team. So, and theirs. They got a very competitive division there in the South. So, little cross-division matchup, and kind of like a little double header, not the same day, obviously, but we fish against them again next week. They come to our home waters in Indiana on Lake Manitou next Saturday. So we're going to get to know each other really well.
Yeah, that's a long trip, huh?
Yeah, for most of my guys, it's between 7 and 8 hours. We've been down here most of the week. I was the last one to pull in on Wednesday afternoon. The rest of them have been down since Sunday or Monday and putting in the work. Super proud of those guys. Hopefully they'll be jumping on live here shortly with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Brian Sparks, Jason Cassidy, and the national champion Mike Elsey with me today on the water. So I'm in good company.
Jim, can you hear us now?
I can hear you through my computer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I thought I had my headphones up, but I guess not. Huh? Looks like we have a beautiful morning on the water where you're at.
What's that?
Looks like we have a beautiful morning on the water where you're at.
Yeah, not too bad. A little bit of an overcast, which is nice to see. We have some wind. Not much. It seems like a lot because there's been none all week during practice. No water moving. The river's been stagnant. No wind. Bluebird skies most of the time. Afternoons it would cloud up, but while you're out on the water, it's been brutal. It's been brutal. So yeah, little overcast and a little breeze is definitely welcome.
That'll be good. And you're in Indiana?
Yeah, I'm from Indiana, but we are in Alabama. We're fishing the Yak Shack Showdown. Huge shout out to the Yak Shack here in Alabama. They sponsored both teams, the Hammers and us, in this game, we all went to the Yak Shack last night. Amazing kayak shop there in southern Birmingham area. Great people. You won't meet nicer people than what they have there. We all met up with the owners and each team and went to dinner afterwards. Had some Mexican. It was a really good time.
It sounds like it. Made me want to go back there. I haven't been there in a while, but that's some old stomping grounds of my own. So
okay,
I had a chance to fish down there a couple times.
If it wasn't against the rules, I'd ask you to send me some intel, but too late now anyway. We're committed.
I'm going to wave off on that one.
Right. Please
I think
do.
you probably know it better than I do at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew the Anderson. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was going to say I knew the Anniston Oxford area. Oh, we got another one joining us today this morning.
We got Nick here this morning.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We were just catching up with one of the other anglers going on right now. How's your morning turning out?
It's good so far. Well, it could be better. I was on some schooling smallmouth here. We're on the Susquehanna River, and I caught like 3 in a row. One was a short, but the 2 others were 17 2.5s. But then I blew up my my one rod that I was using, and I picked up the next rod, and I blew that rod up, and I was picking out backlashes for 30 minutes while smallmouth were schooling all in front of me, blowing up on bait.
I think I hear a DC reel that you just kicked out there for a second too, huh?
Yep, I'm throwing the Corrado DC.
Hey, I know that. That's all I do is Shimano.
Right. I'm just working a whopper plopper now across the top of the water.
Good way to start the morning out.
They weren't really hitting it very good. And then I was throwing a jerk bait in after it, following the blow-ups I was getting on the whopper plopper. So basically kind of find them with the whopper plopper and then try to catch them with the jerk bait if they miss it.
Yeah. Now, for your jerk baits, when you're fishing them, have you found that the clarity right now in the water is ideal for it, or are you kind of pushing the limits on it?
I'm definitely pushing the limits. The water's still a little stained. We had a lot of rain here in Pennsylvania, and especially in north of here, and the river was pretty blown out. It's starting to come down now, but the water is still a little bit stained. But these fish are sitting so shallow that it doesn't even matter. I mean, their backs are out of the water. I could see them just circling around, schooling on bait.
Yeah.
And basically anything that hits the water there is getting their attention. So I think the jerk bait's just nice because it's got like that. It's not hitting the bottom directly. It's starting to suspend up,
Right.
and pretty much almost floating right now. So they could find it pretty easy and hit it.
Yeah, those are the situations when I'll either add or subtract some of the weights I have. And if you're getting feedback from me, let me know because I got my microphone and my laptop going. But yeah, I'll add or subtract some of the weights I put on my jerk baits whenever I'm in that kind of condition. So it sounds like you got it under control.
Yep, I am throwing a little bit of an upgraded hook on them. It's a little bit thicker wire than the normal. I'm throwing a Megabass 110.
That's the best.
What's that?
I said those are the best. That's what I love about them.
Yeah, right.
The 110s, yeah, absolutely.
I find the hooks get bent out a little bit, especially on these river smallmouth. They fight so hard that it's that sometimes the hooks don't really handle them that well. So I'll put like a normal a regular barb treble as opposed to the out barb treble that the Megabass has on them.
Yeah,
a little bit thicker wire.
They will bend pretty easy.
Sam, Zach says good luck to you.
Who?
Zach.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Zach.
So Nick is one of the few anglers that have caught fish this morning. He's got 34 and a half inches for his team.
Yep. I actually tried. I completely just slipped my mind. I caught a 12 and a quarter, and I tried submitting because I was just fishing the Hobie tournament here last weekend, and I was like, why isn't the fish going through? Why isn't the fish going through? And then I forgot that it's a 14-inch minimum.
Right. So Pennsylvania has 51 and a quarter, and Rhode Island Rebels has 34 and 3/4. They are the only teams on the board right now. Oh, no, we got Indianapolis Knights now. So has 14 and 3/4.
There we go.
Alabama doesn't have any. And then with the Washington Warhawks matchup, they have 16 and a quarter, and Motor City doesn't have any either. Let's see who. Mike Elsey is the one that got 14 and 3/4.
The champ.
You know, Basil Chip Romanovich, Sam?
Oh, yeah. One of our guys.
Said, go Knights. Indiana is pulling for you.
Yeah, Chip's one of the best dudes I know.
Yeah, people coming to
14
visit.
3/4 on that one.
Yeah. You got people coming to visit you this early, Jim?
Now I apologize. No, my lovely wife was opening one of the doors.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's good when I have my headphones on, because I can also cancel out a lot of that stuff.
Mm. I say early. It looks like the sun's out over there. It's not out here yet.
Yeah, it's been up for a while now. I woke up thinking about fishing, and I ended up opening the back door to let the dogs out to a little red fox in the backyard. So I got a little bit of nature in my morning, but that was it. Not as much as these guys going on this morning, I tell you.
I know.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest originally, so back home my brothers are already starting to get up and move around to get out on the ponds by where we live. So
I'm basically just trying to see how long I could try to keep this morning bite going. I fished the Hobie tournament on the Susquehanna last weekend and pre-fished this area that I'm in, and I did really well pre-fishing. And come morning of the tournament, I started missing some blow-ups on the whopper plopper, and then I noticed here in the area that I'm in, at least, that the bite just completely shuts off, especially obviously topwater. But there's lots of times on the river where you can catch them on topwater all day, but here I can't get a bite on anything past, I don't know, like 10 o'clock. So I may need to relocate if that bite doesn't show up today. My trailer to the next spot.
you said you weren't fishing in that.
What's
Yeah, I didn't mean
that?
to interrupt you there. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I was just going to say you said you weren't fishing in that deep of water. So what's the average depth that you have been fishing this morning, if I may ask?
Right now I'm in 1.8 feet of water. I'm casting up into like almost a foot, maybe a little less than a foot. The deepest spot, like at least on this stretch of the river that I'm in, is like 3.5, 4 feet.
Wow. Your typical river up there in Susquehanna.
Yep.
And Sam, what about you? What's your average depth that you're fishing, if I may ask?
Right now, the area that I'm in, a lot of it is about 3 to 4 foot. There's one section of it that does get down into 7 to 9 foot, though, in this particular area. Out on the main river, I mean, it can be 20, 30 foot. But you're fishing, obviously a lot shallower than that. But yeah,
sure.
starting out pretty shallow. This time of year, this water's 83 at the moment where I'm at. I've seen it as high as 89 this week. So, got to go where the oxygen is and the cover.
Yeah, once that water starts getting kicked up by that wind, you're going to have a little bit more luck, it seems.
Yeah, we're not supposed to have over 5-mile-an-hour winds today, unfortunately. I don't think the wind's going to be a factor. Our best chance is for some pop-up showers to happen because of the heat and humidity. I mean, there was a little bit of a breeze first thing this morning, but not much of one.
Enough to just give you a little bit of hope, and then
Yeah.
you're going to hang on to that. I know how it goes.
Exactly. But talking to the other guys, they hadn't even seen any wind where they were. So, high banks here, tree line. So it takes a decent wind anyway just to feel it.
Yeah, you got to break through the trees and all that cover, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, where I'm at in Texas, we've been getting a lot of late evening pop-up showers, and it is flooding my backyard. So I wish it would stop raining, but
Well, you can
every
send it
day.
all here today. I'll take all the rain I can get.
Well, a lot of thunder and lightning too. So I don't know if you want all that.
Yeah, we'll maybe pass on that. Huh?
Yeah, Texas has been on a roll. I mean, your first true winter just came.
Oh my goodness, it was horrible. I hated
You
it.
started to break a lot of streaks out. The records are state records. I mean, what's going on with Texas here lately? Huh?
We just want to be the
I got to
best.
say, you got to change it up, don't you? You got to change it up. I get it. I get it. I get it. You know, I have a couple of friends that are still down in Texas, and I still talk to them all the time, and they're like, "Yeah, what is going on? I wish I could go down there and help out. I want to jump in on the action, and break up the monotony of what's going on the rest of the country here, on the East Coast especially. We get these heat waves where the water temps kick up to 94, and those bass, they just get so lethargic. They don't want to do anything. They just want to sit tight. So you really got to turn them on. And if you do get the occasional wind that kicks up, and it's just a monstrosity of, like a monsoon coming across the water, which can be pretty fruitful. You find those points, and you get on the other side of those points on the downside of the wind there, and you can start, basically fishing on those points and just hammer them all day long. But if it kicks up too much, especially in this area, they get a little temperamental to where they just shut down. Kind of like you were talking about, the bite shuts off for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Right around what you said, 10 o'clock. So
yeah,
it's
10 o'clock. It's at least in the area I'm in, and for the last week or two, it's been doing that.
Yeah. That's got to be one of those things where it's like, okay, you're counting down the time.
Right.
Start going through the game plan.
That's why when I had those two reels that I blew up, it was just almost crippling, just having to fix that before I could get a cast out there, as I'm watching smallmouth jump in front of me, blowing up on bait.
I got it. I literally have on mine. I was out yesterday for just a few hours. I think I have my completely loaded down with 8 different setups, and I blew out 2. Actually, like you, I blew out 2, and actually one of them was bird nested in the mid cast, and it broke the line. And I just watched everything sail, and I put it away, and I just grabbed the next one to move on.
Right.
So,
and normally I'm someone who takes a lot of rods. I'll take 6, 7, 8 rods when I go fishing, but I've just been a little bit like dialed in at this particular spot and like as to what they're eating. So I figured I didn't really need any more rods, because I was only going to be throwing 3 to 4 rods. So I brought 4 rods with me, and of course the 2 that I was using on the one's a big heavy glass rod that I'm throwing this plopper on, so I can't really throw anything else on that.
yeah.
And then my chatterbait rod I blew up as well.
You said the water was just a little stained, just slightly stained.
Yeah, there's it's definitely better than when I was here last week. I would say there's about 1.5 foot of visibility right now. On the other side of the river, on the west side, that's where the west branch of the Susquehanna dumps in, and the water is always significantly clearer over there, even after heavy rain. Sometimes it'll get blown out, but most of the time you'll find that the water is really clear on one side and pretty dirty on the east side of the river.
I got you. That's quite a difference, just to even go from one side to the other like that. That's good though, because it can work in your advantage. You can at least have a backup plan and not have to worry about the same conditions. And if you're not hitting it with what you're throwing, have that little bit of dread kind of tugging at you, like, what do I switch to at this point?
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a multitude of different options to fish on the river. Like you could catch them a number of ways.
Yeah. Now, have you grown up on the river? Did you have you always fished rivers? Is that your strong point?
No, I would say I don't fish rivers that much. I live about two hours north of where I'm fishing right now, so I don't get down to this section very often. I mostly prefer fishing for lakes and like more grass. I enjoy grass power fishing, but also smallmouth fishing is like Great Lake smallmouth fishing, and just the lake oriented smallmouth are more what I would say is my area of specialty.
Good morning. We got Zach joining us this morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate you giving us that intel, Nick. Thank you.
Can you hear us, Zach?
Oh, I think we lost him there for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you telling us that, Nick, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I always like to know, this being pretty new to me as far as the anglers. I just like to get to know the anglers individually. What about you, Sam? Would you say your strong points river, or do you like reservoirs and lakes?
No, definitely not. Here, let me sit down and talk to you. I need to sit down anyway.
Don't let me distract you from your game now. I'm not trying to take away from you.
I was thinking about sitting down for a second anyway. No, I would not call myself a river fisherman at all, especially not small rivers. Bigger rivers, I'm okay. Years past, the offshore thing has really been the deal for me. And it's played some this season, but I've been fishing really shallow a lot this year. Just the way everything's played out weather-wise, it's just kind of what it's been for me. But I prefer to be offshore. That's definitely my strong suit, but
Is that because of the openness and where you can go to find a structure you know that's there, as opposed to having to worry about the ebb and flow?
I don't know what it is exactly that draws me to it, because I like getting up shallow and throwing a jackhammer and a frog and a buzz bait. I like all that too, but it's just, generally speaking, I feel like when I get on that offshore stuff, it's always a winning deal, right? It's either there or it's not, and when it is, I always feel extremely confident that even if I only get 5 or 6 bites, they're going to be the right ones. In my experience, that's been the case. So I like going out there. I like using my electronics. I like sitting up on a spot and just working whatever that structure is, whether it's a deep point or a roadbed or a hump or brush pile or whatever. I like using my electronics, and I like breaking it down and just enjoy it.
It's good. No, I couldn't agree more.
Hey, Zach, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, welcome.
Yeah. Man, that 2.5 mile paddle this morning wasn't fun. I know that. Lake St. Clair is a fun one.
Oh yeah, y'all are fishing over there. How is it out there?
Yeah. It's not bad. The winds are favorable. The boat traffic so far today isn't terrible. The bite's just not there yet. I'm out fishing for smallmouth in like 16 to 17 feet of water, and I caught a 14.5-inch largemouth. So, they were here pre-fishing. They've been here for a couple days, and just doesn't seem like they're wanting to cooperate this morning. I've had a couple hits, but like I said, I'm sitting in like 15.5 feet, 3.5 miles off one shore and 2.9 off the other one. So we'll see. Hopefully once that sun kind of maybe pops out, we'll get a little bit better of a bite.
Definitely not the most ideal conditions, especially that far away, huh?
Well, that, and then this water here is crystal clear. You've got water that, you're seeing 13, 14 feet down. And
Wow.
when it's this clear and it's overcast, sometimes it helps hide those baits, but those fish, when it's sunny, those fish are the ones, they're cruising, they're hunting. That's what we're looking for. This time of year, we don't get the St. Clair wolf packs that just run and hunt together, and you're on one fish, so you catch 100 inches. This time of year, it's one fish, and then you got to move and go, a half a mile away to find another one.
Hey, you had a chance to fish that lake in its prime against the Indianapolis Knights, but you decided to
I'll tell you right now, that's not in its prime. That was worse then.
Really?
Oh yeah.
We had some guys going up there during that time frame, and of course every day's different, but there was
the only time this lake's in its prime is April, May, and early June is that, I mean, you can come out here and stick over 100 inches in a couple hours.
Yeah.
It was awesome
So-
when I was up there for the KBF trail this year. That was in June, later June actually, but it was unbelievable.
Yeah, in June, you know, you'll get that depending on the water and everything and the weather that we've been having. But man, I'm 75-degree water and it's 16 feet deep. So,
Right.
but yeah, so I kind of figured all pre-fishing, I was catching my fish around 9-10 o'clock. So I was just kind of hoping to get a few bonus fish today and then get onto those fish around 9 or 10 when I start getting my pattern come through, as long as there is a 90 boat Bass Classic qualifier or something going on out here this weekend, and they were out yesterday and then they're out today, but I don't see I think they launch at 6:30 and I don't see many boats around me. So either that's a good thing or they all know something that I don't.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone who hasn't ever had that same thought too. Like, why am I alone?
Well, I'm sitting here and I mean, in sight distance, I can see 2 boats, and I'm like, you know, thinking to myself, there's 90 boats out here, and I fished up by the Detroit River the other day on the north end of the lake just to try something different, and I probably had 20-30 boats run right past me at 6:45 in the morning. So I would assume they have something that they're working up in the river, probably just dragging tubes or something down the river. And, you know, at this time of year, that makes sense. But this lake has resident fish that don't leave. I mean, they'll just cruise back and forth from feed beds to deep rocks and stuff like that. And they'll just hang out in some of these bays. And I mean, the main shipping channel is probably only about another 1.5 miles away from where I'm at right now. So,
Wow, a lot of traffic back and forth. At least, you know, they're steadfast.
yeah, you know. And if you're not catching fish, you get to sit here and watch a bunch of freighters go through.
Yeah,
I actually had Border Patrol come over to me yesterday because I was sitting about 30 yards when I was in the river. I was about 30 yards away from the Canadian border, and the Border Patrol comes over to me and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not in trouble or anything. We just wanted to give you a heads up if you keep floating, and you know, you're going to be over there." And they didn't like that I told them I was just going over to get some fries and maple syrup and I'd be back. So they didn't really like that answer.
That's hilarious.
So,
love that
Hey,
answer.
Zach, did you say it was 70-degree water temp?
75.
I would kill
Wow.
for that right now. We have
Right.
90 and
Yeah.
100 degrees
Well,
here in Texas.
I usually like 75-degree water, but when I'm fishing for smallmouth, I don't. Not up here.
You
Yeah,
like
I
it
don't
colder
know.
or warmer?
I early spring when that water's like mid to high 50s. Those smallmouth are just, I mean, it's not uncommon to come to this lake and pull a 7-pounder. You know, it's definitely something that happens almost daily out here for someone.
I would lose my mind if I caught
You know, and
it wouldn't matter what else
and
happened here.
I mean, we had a tournament up here. I was showing Greg actually last night at the campsite. We had a tournament up here I want to say it started in April and ran through. It was one of our like big bass bracket tournaments. And one of the guys, I think end of April or early May, put up a 22.25 inch. I think it was 7.2 or something like that.
Wow.
And you know, they are out here. You hear stories about them all the time. And yeah, it'd be nice to catch one of those today, but you know, my biggest fish so far on this lake has been a 20.25 inch largemouth that I found in the river yesterday, but he was only by himself. So it was kind of pointless to go back.
Keep on the grind. Keep on the grind, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, you were saying something just a second ago?
Oh, I was saying I would lose my mind if I caught a 7-pound smallmouth.
Oh
Or
my
even
God, would
saw
we?
somebody with me catch a 7-pound smallmouth. Like, that would be insane.
I would love that too. Bucket
Yeah, I've
list,
never
right?
caught a smallmouth. You know, I've never caught a big smallmouth personally. I rarely fish for them, and I'm like Zach was. They're catching 3 and 4 pound smallies. I'll catch largemouth. Like me and smallmouth have just never really gotten along. Changed a little bit this year. I've started to catch some small ones here and there, but nothing big. But yeah, I mean that would be amazing. Like to see a 7 pound smallie, it'd be awesome.
I'll
I'd take
take
a
a
7 pound
7-pound bass,
largemouth.
period.
Yeah, I would take a 7 pounder right now, period. But smallmouth.
It doesn't have to be. I don't care. It doesn't have to be small. It doesn't have to be spotted. It can be all three: large, small, spotted. Get it all.
I hear that. Speaking of that, what's up? We got a scoreboard update. Anything changing up there?
Let's see. We do. So Alabama Hammers have a 16-inch on the board. And Indianapolis Knights is still at 14 3/4. Yeah. Washington Warhawks with 16 1/4, and Motor City Ambassadors with 14 1/2. Have Rhode Island Rebels with 63 1/4, and Pennsylvania Bronzebacks with 51 1/4. And
That's
then the
going to be a close matchup.
Yeah.
What is Rhode Island's biggest fish?
Rhode Island's biggest fish. Let's see. 17 3/4.
Okay.
And y'all's is 17 1/4.
Oh,
Yeah.
Greg Nozar must have caught all his fish in practice.
Always.
Jeez, oh,
We
Pete,
have
dude
to-
is putting up like 100 inches a day in practice. So I'm like, man, save a few.
Right?
Well, and that's the thing though out here is, I mean, you can, the only way to avoid possibly catching a 20-inch fish is literally to not be on the water. Yeah, you can't go to a spot and just say I'm going to target 14, 15-inch fish. They, like I was saying earlier, with these fish roaming right now, you can pull up onto a spot and you can see an entire bait cloud, and you can throw in and you can catch 2, 3 14s and then hook a 21. And that 21 is just there because that's where the bait is. But like I was saying, in the spring, the 21s, they get in a group together. The 20s get in a group together. The 19s get in a group together, and they'll just cruise around the lake. So once you're onto one, you just keep throwing to that spot, and you'll keep pulling 19s. Whatever you just caught, you're going to catch another fish that's very comparable in size.
Yeah, they don't have to compete for food then at that point. You know,
They know that like we made the joke the other day, like me, Jeff, and all the guys, we were sitting at the campsite, and Jeff goes, yeah, it's like they all have their little clubs. The 19s look at an 18 and say, haha, you're too small, you can't hang out with us. And like they do. They group up, and you'll look down on your graph and you'll be sitting there just getting returns after returns of big fish. And once, like I said, once you're onto one, you just keep a bait going down in the water right in that same spot.
Knowing you're going to get fish that are comparable to the one you just caught. Yeah, for sure. I see. I haven't had that much luck when it comes to that. I've always fished along the bank for the most part, along the shoreline, finding that structure and that cover, getting those isolated bass or the rogue bass. And bass in a lot of ways are like people as far as introverts and extroverts. You know, bass sometimes don't like being in schools of bass, and other times they definitely are in schools. You'll find them out there. So it seems like if you can find those schools like you're talking about, that would put you on the money spot.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Nozar is the one that caught the only fish for Washington right now.
Yeah.
Well, and I will tell you another thing too. We didn't really expect a lot of fish early on because it is the spots you have to get to. It takes a while to get to. I know the one spot that we were all kind of talking about and kicking back and forth, it was a 4-mile one-way trip. And I know like Matt Linsman and Jeremy Baker, they both have motors on their kayaks. Jeff Fader and I, we don't. So, I put in I want to say I typed it in this morning. It was like a 2.9 mile straight out trip. And that going into a chop, it was, I left early enough that I didn't have to go 5 miles an hour to get there on time. I just cruised at about 3 and luckily got there at like 5:52 and had enough time to get everything ready and get that line in. So,
It's a lot of pedaling.
oh yeah. I don't know if I can turn this camera around when I'm on here, but I was once I bring this cast in here, I'll show you. You can see how far this shoreline is away from me.
Yeah, for sure. We'd like to see that. Yeah, my big buck got bougie after I got out of my staying healthy phase, and so I had to get a motor guide on the front of my yak. I'm perfectly happy with that. Got the
Yeah.
paddle as the backup.
I figure this way keeps me young. I I spent 5 years playing college hockey, and then I got out and I was like, I don't want to work out anymore. So I guess this is my workout.
What's your workout?
Let's see here. So I probably won't be able to switch it. So I'm just going to kind of do this and see if you can see. That's the closest.
Wow.
That's the closest shoreline to me. And then that's Detroit over there. So, but yeah, I mean, you can see. I mean, the chop's not terrible. It's manageable. But if you get out here and you get wind that picks up, it gets a little dicey.
I was gonna say a lot of like a bathtub toy. We have a place like that around here, but it's very, very shallow. So any kind of wind, it just those waves, they're right there to just sit there and pound on the side of the yak. It's pretty dangerous at times.
Yeah, and we had an event scheduled on this lake with West Virginia, and that wind was going to be coming out of the east, possible gust of 20 miles an hour, and those guys we know aren't very used to fishing massive waters with a lot of winds, and they were really cool about when they had to make that decision to change lakes for everyone's safety, really. I've been out here when there's been 3-4 foot rollers, and it's not fun.
No, I wouldn't imagine it is. I wouldn't imagine. You got to stay seated that entire time. There's no standing up fishing.
Oh yeah, no, you don't stand fish when you're out here in the center of St. Clair.
Yeah, there's no way. I would never. It's kind of like if I'm winter fishing or if there's high wind, I'd never stand up because I know I'm just too clumsy. I'll fall over. Eventually, I'm going to fall over.
We have a lake like that down here in Texas, but it's nowhere near the size of St. Clair. But it's just, I don't know what it is about that lake, but you get 5 mile an hour winds and you have at least 1 to 2 foot rollers. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it real shallow?
Is it shallow?
It gets 40 to 60 feet.
Oh.
Wow. You think with those kind of waves, it's going to be shallow. The more shallow the water, the bigger the waves coming in.
Yeah.
Man.
But I've been out on there, and it got to the point where I couldn't even paddle anymore because I was in a paddle kayak at the time, and I couldn't make it back to the dock. Luckily, there was another kayaker there that was able. I just bent or. I put it on the land, and then I had somebody help me carry it to my trailer. So,
Well, at least someone was there to help you. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the fight when it comes to that, but like I said before, it does when you have a motor, it sucks that battery down. I mean, it just drains you like that. So because if you're fighting the wind constantly and you got all that weight in that little bitty kayak, well, I'm on a bona fide. I got the 127. I don't know if you have a Hobie or a Titan. Those bigger kayaks, they definitely they're going to weigh a lot more. They're going to come into the water, all that friction down and that wind's pushing against you. It's going to suck those batteries down, and then you're relegated to manual. Like I can't imagine that you were going through that either. It's like that occasionally. Where we're at, but not too bad. I think we've had 15 to 18 has been the worst. I've been on the water, and I just turned around and went back. And I was like, this is undoable. So, my bonehead mistake. Nick, how you doing down there?
My bite is non-existent right now. I'm gonna probably make a move over to the shady side of this island to see if I could get like an extended morning bite on that side. Hit that spot. I was up. See, it's crazy. I still see them blowing up over there where I was this morning. I'm actually gonna go check that out.
start casting into those lobes there?
I think they're more current oriented today. The last time I was here, when the water was moving a little more and it was higher, they were trying to stay out of like the heaviest of current, and like finding the slack water, like behind islands, behind
Right.
laydowns, anything like that. But now I think as the water's dropping, they're relating more to the current.
You said you're on a river, not a tidal basin, right?
Yeah, it's a river.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Hey, it's raining again here. Yay.
What was that?
It's raining again here. Yay.
Is it just a light rain, or do you got a thunderstorm rolling in?
It's just a light rain right now.
All right. Are you down by the coast, or are you? I mean, Texas is the size of the United States anyway. So.
I'm about 45 minutes from the coast, so I'm
Oh, okay.
not,
Well, that's not too far.
yeah. I don't ever fish the coast, but
Yeah, you're not sitting like Zach is right now.
And I mean, I give some of these other guys that are doing this credit. I mean, I'm sitting in an area that's more of a bay. There's a couple of guys that wanted to go down and fish the Detroit River today. And when I was up, damn it.
Are you on?
No, I thought I had it, but I don't know if I just not. Yeah, it's tough. These smallmouth, some will just smack a bait and they'll basically hook set themselves. And then other ones, I caught one this morning. It was a little like 7.5-inch smallmouth. I started reeling and I didn't even feel him on the line.
Oh wow!
And I figured I was on weeds or something, and then I got it up and I see the line start dancing a little bit, and I'm like, "There's no way this is a bass." And then because there's tons of perch out here too, and he finally got him in. Like I said, a little 7-inch fish. But yeah, those guys that went down to the river. Because yesterday I wanted to pre-fish an area that wasn't gonna change my mind on where I planned on going today, and so I just went up the river and found a slack water area, and that's where, like I said, I caught a 20.25-inch small or largemouth, and I was like,
largemouth,
now I kind of want to come here, and then I cruised around for a little while, and I just didn't see anything else that was of that size, but that current coming through that river when I was not pedaling was still pushing me at about 3.5 to 4 miles an hour.
That's still pretty good.
So,
pretty good speed.
So, I mean, those guys that are fishing down in the river that, like you said, if they're running a motor guide, they're basically facing the current and just running that motor guide just to keep them still.
Right.
But
random pinpoint.
Yeah. That's why I still stick with the old, the legs. Figure they won't give out on me. Not yet, hopefully.
There's the two schools of thought when it comes to that, and one is that you're going to be able to focus more on what you're doing with your fishing if you're not always sitting there trying to paddle and keep going. But I know you have muscle memory that comes after time, right? As opposed to hitting the pinpoint on this. Me personally, I there you go. Yeah, let's get them on. There we go.
I don't think it's huge, but it's a pike.
You got him.
oh,
He smacked it mid crank. I hate these things out here. They like to jump.
That's the fun in it.
well,
Yeah, but I feel like he's gonna jump. I feel like he's gonna jump at me, and you guys are gonna see me. All right, there we go. Just
a pike pickerel.
Yeah, northern pike up here. That's
pike,
that's what we call them.
In the family. No, we call them back home too. I think they're all part of the larger family.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing up here. Everybody thinks that a bowfin is a snakehead up here. they don't know. I've caught a snakehead when we were in Virginia, and they fight absolutely nothing alike.
No, they're not. No,
a bowfin, yeah, it's a fun fight, but you hook into a snakehead and you have a snakehead.
Yeah, explosive torpedo power.
Yep. Yeah, I was throwing a Ned rig under a dock, and he just came out and whacked it, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" Because being from up here, I've never caught a snakehead. I figured it was a catfish, or at that point maybe a big bass. But then he started diving down, and I was like, "Yeah, this is not anything that I want."
Yeah, Greg and I were talking about snakehead the other day, and he's had the monster snakehead, but I I caught my first snakehead after moving to Virginia. And back home, we don't have snakehead either. So my brother, when he came out to visit, I took him snakehead fishing, and that was his first experience with them. If you've never eaten them, they are incredible.
I've heard that they are.
Oh my God, they're just like, it's like having swordfish. It's got the same consistency. It's like cutting into a steak. No fishy taste. They're phenomenal.
Huh.
So, Nick, have you had snakehead before?
Yeah, actually, I had a pretty similar story there. I was fishing the Potomac River this year, actually, and I was flipping a little drop shot under the docks, and I caught a pretty good one. It was 10 pounds and 28 inches.
Wow.
And those things fight insanely hard. Like
Yeah, they do.
The hardest fighting fish I've ever fought. And I've caught like striper, like landlocked striper before, and I think they outfight every fish I've ever fought.
They are incredible in every way. So fighting, the way they taste when you cook them up in that right, with that right flavor, they're amazing. And the thing is so many people they were mistaken. Not to get off topic of bass for a minute, but they're so misunderstood. And we have our local fisheries biologist here for all the Northern Virginia and DC, and we had him on I was talking to him and I was doing an interview with him, and he's basically the leading expert in the world for snakehead. He was talking about how in 2004 when they first identified them here, and up until this point, there was that huge incline, and now the numbers are starting to come down. It's just because of equilibrium. I mean, there's got to be a state of homeostasis for fish between bass, between their food source. If they're eating banded killifish, the bluegill, bass still outnumber them 3, 4, 5 to 1. And with their numbers dwindling now, it's just a matter of time before they're not going to be as common as you find them or what you did find on the Potomac. And I know because I used to live out on the Potomac, and I'm just down the street from Aquia now.
That's actually where I caught mine. It was when we were out there. It was the creek there. Yep.
Hey, that's why I caught a 14 out there, a 14-pound snakehead out there.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the typical photograph where you're like, but you have to hold him way up here just to get the tail down in the picture. And you show the full breadth of the fish. So Nick, have you made your move?
Well, I'm back to where I started this morning because I saw some more fish blowing up here. If I'm gonna make a big move, I think it's gonna probably be I'm gonna trailer to where I'm gonna take the kayak out and relaunch somewhere else. Because this area I fished it. Like I said, I pre-fished it. It was the Hobie tournament that was here last weekend, and I did really well in the morning pre-fishing, but the bite is just non-existent in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's unfortunate then. Yeah, you got to leave fish to find fish, right? That's the golden rule. How about you, Sam? How are you faring? It looks like you're still.
There's an area I've been wanting to go into, but there's been a bass boat sitting at the mouth of it, so I'll try to be respectful of them and not blow through the area they're fishing. So I've been fishing some other stuff longer than I wanted to, and now I'm heading to this other area I practice in because my first spot didn't pan out. It's weird. You would think the morning bite would be phenomenal right now with the bluebird skies we've had and the heat we've had, but I haven't experienced that yet. It's always been later in the day that the bite gets going, and I would have thought that would be because they were generating a pushing current at that time, but they haven't been. And if they have, it's been minimal to nothing. So I don't know what it is, but that afternoon bite. Of course, the lunar phase may be playing into that. We're getting ready to go into a new moon. So
all right, I gotta hop off. I got one here.
Didn't even notice.
oh boy.
Sorry about that, Sam. You're talking about the lunar phase also.
Yeah, so lunar
Actually, I
phase
might be
could
able
be
to keep it. We'll see.
could be the factor there. Typically I would say that weather conditions trump lunar, but when you have stable conditions like we have, I think that lunar phase does play more into it, especially with the bait fish.
There you go.
I had one there for a second.
I was going to say, no sooner were you talking about that than you would land one.
Yeah, that would have been perfect, but instead it was a Bill Dance moment. But yeah, I think more so for the bait fish that lunar matters. Something big just busted right behind me. Than it does for the predator fish like the bass. But we'll see. I'm going to start here at the mouth of this thing and see if I can get something going, and then if not, I'm going to work my way into it. So I'd love to just see some current start ripping down this river, though, and that's not something you typically would hear me say.
Yeah, you're saying this about the moon. I think I was checking yesterday. What are we at, 7 or 8% waning moon? Now I have my curiosity up.
All right, there we go.
We're at 0% waning.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was 16.
Awesome.
That was 16?
Yeah. I knew it wasn't huge. It didn't fight like anything big, but it's still worth it. We got to get that limit before we can start going big.
Well, you can just go big all day and then you don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, our strategy kind of is that we got guys that are in spots that there's tons of fish, and I feel like once that bite turns on, we're gonna have guys that are putting up fish after fish for a little bit until it kind of calms down. And honestly, this spot that I'm in is kind of the same. I'm sitting on a drop off that's got boulders marked on one side and grass on the other. So it's just a drop point where fish are gonna hang out. And I knew it was gonna be right about that time that sun came up before those fish started before they started actively pursuing what I'm doing.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
Hi. Sorry, I'm trying to get all set up here.
No, it's fine. I didn't even see you down there. Hope you haven't been waiting long.
No, I'm still trying to get all my marbles together here. I just caught a fish, and so I have to take a picture first and all that jazz. How y'all doing this morning?
Good. How's your morning going?
Doing well.
Well, it's a little bit of a slow start, I guess. I'm not sure what the other guys are doing. I've talked to, but not setting the world on fire yet. This place is kind of tough.
Well, I know how that is.
Looking at Fishing Chaos, it looks like the whole morning's slow everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Y'all save any back there for me? All of them, huh? I saved them all out here for you. Oh, okay.
Oh, damn. There, maybe you can see me a little better now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I got two little ones on the board, but they're not going to help. We're gonna have to call them out, but obviously we've got to get a limit before we can start calling. So.
Right.
What's up, Mike? How you doing? I didn't see you there.
Good morning. How are you?
Typical Lake St. Clair.
Right?
Yeah, he's got all.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say typical Lake St. Clair. I'd say summertime Lake St. Clair.
Yeah. I bet it's not as hot up there as it is down here, though.
Probably not. I'm actually it was a little chilly this morning.
You missed it, Mike. He was complaining about 75-degree water temps.
Jeez.
Ain't catching 16-inch smallmouth.
Right. I'd take a couple of those right now.
Yeah, I was just
You
checking.
know, you gotta have something to complain about, Sam. If you don't complain about something, then you just sit here quiet, and that's no fun.
It's not, is it?
Mike, you catch them on the upside down umbrella?
Yeah. Wacky rigged whopper flopper.
Okay. I'll tie that on.
Wow.
I'm drop shot and a jerk bait, so I know how you feel.
Right?
Change this to Intel Yard, Intel Stream Yard here. I like
Right.
Yeah.
It's all about the juice, man.
It is. It definitely is. Hey, I don't blame you.
Hey, Jim, I'll be right back.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Well, we're gonna drop some rods down and get under here.
Yeah. So that direct sunlight, the only thing that's really going to save you, Nick, it seems like is going to be hitting those shaded areas if you can stay consistent with the current. And
Yeah, I'm headed that way now. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm going to give this shaded island here another half an hour, and then I think I'm going to pull out of here and try to launch somewhere else.
So I noticed that you have with your motor, you got the hanging around your neck. I hear a motor guide in the background, I think, right? Sam, is that you?
Yeah. Yep.
But do you have your lanyard as well, like Nick does, hanging from your neck?
Yeah.
So I found that because I have a motor guide too. I got the XI3 with pinpoint, but I have found that it was so distracting to try to find it hanging around my neck. And I know it's like any remote, you memorize the buttons and the layout after a while, but I had to get something away, and I finally got it figured out where I have it strapped around. Like when you used to go running, or if you've ever been in kind of physical activity, you have those carriers for your phone, and they wrap around your arm or your leg per se. My wife actually found one, and I wrap it around my leg, and the button as I'm sitting or standing in the kayak, I have that memorized now because it's easy instead of dangling around and I'm trying to reach up here and look down, and it gets a little distracting. Instead, it's in one good location. My question is with it hanging around your neck like that, do you find it to be distracting sometimes, especially if you're trying to get fish on, or is it pretty easy just like I've got mine now?
Well, I put my lanyard underneath my PFD so I don't have it flopping around.
Yeah.
And so it comes out underneath my PFD and kind of just lays center there. And
oh, okay.
I don't find that at all. In fact, I don't know if I could do what you're talking about doing.
I think because when I'm standing, it's right there, like right at my hip, and it's in that one location. And I always find that wherever I have my rod at as I'm reeling, if I've got it tucked under the arm, it's within literally just a hand width from where my reel is at, so I can reach my hand over right away. And otherwise, I start pushing against my chest or my belly or my navel area, and that's where I know I'll be bumping into that thing all day long.
Huh. Interesting.
Stay tuned for more tips.
Right. So I had my, the clip on the back that's molded into the back plate for your lanyard.
Yeah.
Where your lanyard wraps around it on the back of the remote.
I do.
I had that break on me.
Oh, really?
Here when I was in practice. And I had no other way of, storing that. So I was a little nervous about it. So I was thinking, like, what can I do? So I ended up taking some braided fishing line, putting a couple loops in it, and taking those screws out of the bottom of the plate there and putting those screws through those loops and just made like a little braided
nice.
deal.
Innovative.
And it's working out pretty good because there's enough stretch in the lanyard and the braid that it's not, getting pulled on hard or anything like that. So kind of different.
It definitely sounds like you got to figure it out with that. Braided fishing line can be used for just about anything. It's the fixed all, especially on a kayak. If it was,
it's the duct tape of the fishing rod.
It is. If it was sticky or had some kind of adhesive on it, it would be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like 100-mile-an-hour tape in the military.
I use 3M Velcro a lot too.
That's
Mike,
that
how's
stuff. That stuff sticks to anything too.
What, the 100 mile tape or what you're saying? What you're saying?
That 3M Velcro.
Yeah, the Velcro. Oh my God, I know. I have that on the inside of the hull of the yak to hold up the yak power unit.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll definitely hold. So, Mike, forgive me because I'm still new to all the anglers. Good morning, as I said before. So, where are you fishing at? It looks like you got a little overcast as well. Are you there with Sam?
Yeah, I'm down here in Alabama.
Yeah, okay.
Neely Henry with Sam.
I figured because of the comment earlier, that's what you guys were linked on the team there. I was checking Fishing Chaos just a second ago.
Yeah.
Keep you updated on this real quick.
Yeah, we've got a mayfly hatch this morning.
What was that?
So we've got a mayfly hatch here this morning, which is new.
Oh, they all.
It's going to make things better or worse, but
hopefully it does go for your. Hopefully it does go your way there. Huh?
hopefully. I did notice them the other day. Fish on.
Fish on?
Oh, big fish.
Come on, Mike.
Get it, Mike.
Oop, oop.
All right. Number 3.
Sorry,
Nice.
Mike.
This is the kind we want right here.
Let's go, boy.
I'm trying to put you on here, Mike. Give me 1 second. I keep.
Came off in the net.
It's not, I'm not Mike.
I know. I keep trying to put the mic here, and it won't let me.
No,
That's okay.
I saw myself big, and I was like, "Oh, that's
So it's
There we
not
go.
as big as I thought, but it's
That's what I
still
thought.
a decent fish anyway.
Still a
Hey.
decent fish. Oh yeah. Good
Yeah. He thought he was big anyway. All right. So I'm gonna cut out here for a minute if y'all don't mind, so I can take this picture and get this
No
thing submitted.
problem.
I'll come back.
Not a problem. We'll see when you come back. I'm glad. Hey, good catch. Good catch.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you up to act like that. I kept trying to
no,
go
you're
down
good."
solo.
I was looking over because I wanted to see this fish, and I looked over. I'm like, "Wait, that's me."
That's me. Yeah, well, the buttons we have laid out, if when you're trying to go solo on it,
Yeah.
there's little 3 dots on the side, so I just didn't click on that. Now, Zach, have you started to move locations as well?
No,
I'm
I'm sticking to this area until about 11 or about 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's when I started catching big ones the other day, and if I don't get some better bites around that time, I have one spot that's about a mile away that it's going to be with the current, so I should be able to get there pretty quick. But I mean, as of right now, I'm still getting bites. I'm still seeing a ton of fish, and I don't foresee a reason to leave because when I pre-fished out here, I was catching fish out here all the way until 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So I guess that kind of begs the question: do you know, or have you found in your experience, and I guess conventional wisdom would tell you, once the fish get the taste of steel in their mouth, sometimes there can be a little trepidation for them to get back on the bite. Do you think that plays a role in anything when it comes to your plan as far as when you're on today?
Yeah, largemouth, yes. I think you hook a largemouth, you're probably not going to get that fish to turn right around and bite. Smallmouth seem to be a lot more aggressive. I mean, especially when they're feeding, a couple hours later, you could turn around and catch the same fish that you caught, an hour or 2 ago.
Right.
A lake like this, the thing is these fish are constantly cycling too. So more than likely, the same fish that I'm sitting on right now are not going to be the fish that come through at 10 o'clock. There's going to be waves that come through. The other day, I was picking up a wave that was coming through near the bottom, and then I was getting a group that was coming through mid-range, and then I was getting one that was coming through 2 feet under the surface, and then back to a group that was coming through on the bottom. And it just kind of seemed like they were rolling through this area because this is where the bait is. Like I said, this is where some structure is. They're really identifying with weeds and rocks right now. Usually in the spring it's rocks, but then once summer hits, they pretty much go for whatever cover they can find as long as you're at the right depth.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of one of those things you feel kind of dumb because you're just out here blind casting, but you're not really blind casting because I'm sitting on a big weed field right now, and I'm more or less just fishing the outskirts of it, and then every now and then crossing through the center of it and just bouncing a bait through the center. So like I said, to anybody else, it's going to look like I'm just sitting out here casting a line in every direction, I feel like. But there are fish down there.
There's a method to the madness, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I like to think that, at least.
Yeah, it sounds like you definitely have one.
But I'm just, I know the other guys after our talks the other day, and they're pre-fishing. I feel confident in what they got going on, and I'm just trying to get some fish right now, and then hope for some of my bigger ones to come through later. So
you definitely have a support team as well, which is saying go Zach.
Yeah.
Got Jason Campbell. Good morning. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Mr. Campbell.
I still don't see a breeze yet with you, Sam. I'm
It's-
watching in the back. Huh?
It's gone. There's no breeze whatsoever at the moment. There is, however, some overcast. So I will take it. I won't complain.
Right.
I'm surprised by the amount of overcast. I hope it hangs out. And I hope we get some relief from the heat and maybe even some rain.
Right. No, for sure. Better than that direct sunlight. I know that. Sit there and bake all day. Mike is trying to join us here.
Yeah, I think I've got my camera backwards or something. Bear with me a second. I'm not sure what happened.
This one was not my fault, Mike. I promise. I had Zach on the main screen earlier instead of Mike when he was catching his fish. So.
Oh, wait. Yes. There we go.
There we go.
Now, as long as I don't turn my power off again on accident when I'm putting this thing back in the ram mount.
Yeah.
That's what happened a second ago.
Yeah, I know. Staying on stream, it also can, and you don't want that power to go down. So
Right.
You bring a charger with you as well?
Yeah, I've got that. The way this mount is, it just happens to like hit right on my power button, but I'm not careful.
Yeah, mine does too.
Okay, here we go again. Let's try that again.
It's always a good.
Sounds like
that's
cabbage.
always a good sign.
Yeah. Oh, what's a good?
I was gonna say it's always a good sign when you get perch following your bait back. You know that they're there.
I hooked a shad this morning. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, hey, then at least you can shad match.
Match the hatch there. Sam, are you good at? I think you got caught up in a little cabbage there, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm like way stuck at the moment.
Hey, I know how it goes when you got to pull the motor back and you sit there and try to spin it up. I go in full throttle on it for a second.
Yeah. Stuck in some stuff at the moment, but we're almost out. I hit something and it threw the boat into the stuff.
So, Mike, if you don't mind real quick, what's your favorite method of fishing? Would you consider yourself probably, I would say your favorite is going to be, is it topwater? Do you like?
My favorite method is whatever catching them.
That's a good answer. I like that answer.
No, I typically would consider myself like a jig guy. But
I'm sorry, what?
like a a jig fisherman.
Okay.
I fish a jig a lot, but I don't know. I feel like I'm fairly versatile. So I say I'm a jig guy, but here I am throwing a power bait right now. So I'm moving and grooving kind of thing right now. So
Hey, whatever works. As long as you got a big arsenal and you know how to use it, you're good.
that's kind of the way I look at it. I mean, I came from the bass boat world several years ago or a few years ago, and I'm still have that mentality of, you got to have everything in the kitchen sink, just in case kind of thing. And it's hard to try to get myself to condense. Although I kind of pat myself on the back this time. I did a pretty good job this time. I only have one tote this time instead of like 4. So.
I have to say, I've seen in photographs where my yak without it being loaded as opposed to when it is loaded, and I'm another 2 or 3 inches deeper in the water. I
Right?
have so much
My
going
probably
on.
would be too. It's nuts.
Yeah, I get so much going.
And yet I
What about you,
still
Lisa?
probably use like 3 poles. I've got 10 with me. I look like a porcupine out here, but
I get it.
the same 2 or 3 rods are what's in my rotation the whole time. But there's always that what if factor.
You're like me. It's a 2 is 1, 1 is none kind of guy. That's the kind of guy I am. I want to make sure my backup plan is always there. I hate being unprepared.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Listen, what about you? What's your favorite style? I know you're definitely using Wooston on your T rig and everything else, right? I saw that.
Yeah, I like drop shot right now. That is my go-to. I didn't used to before this year, but this year I decided to open my horizons and start using different techniques. I was punching a lot. We have a lot of reed lines, which are really good. Usually, after the freeze, though, it just, I don't know. I can't catch them where I used to catch them and have to use different techniques, been going more offshore.
Roger that. So we got Christopher on deck. Let's bring him
Oh,
into
You gonna add them in or?
No, I was actually going to let you do the honors here because I tried clicking on the. Oh, you got him? Oh,
Yeah.
There we go. Good morning, Christopher.
Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
Hey,
I think we got you.
Jeremy, we'll do an update here in just a minute on the leaderboard.
There we go.
We got Sam.
I
Sam,
think
are you
so.
on?
Fish in.
Easy.
Come on, Sam, get him, buddy. We need every single fish.
I think at least I'll let you take control of that. I think we're. What happened
Looks
with
like we
Sam?
lost him.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Sam when he got on a fish there.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? Come back
Maybe
on,
the
Sam.
fish was so big it pulled him in.
Huh?
Hey, one can dream, right?
Hey, well, hopefully he lands it if it's that big.
Hey, good morning, Christopher. So, how's the fishing going this morning for you? Not hearing you too well, buddy.
Let's see if we can. Hold on. Let me.
Okay, well, one more time, Christopher. What were you saying?
I got a fish. Okay, so
I'm sorry, buddy. Maybe Lisa can hear you a little bit
his phone case is on. He's going to take his phone case off and see if we can hear him better.
Okay.
I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, I have artillery ears, and so sometimes I lean in to see, and I'm also trying to read lips as well, which I do often to try to make up, but I couldn't.
Okay, I'm going to share the leaderboard here real quick. Jeremy's asking for an update. I'm sure everybody else is wondering what's going on with the leaderboard. Let's see if we get. There we go. Okay. So we have Washington Warhawks with 32 inches, Motor City Ambassadors with 30 and a half. And then we got Alabama
Man, where's
Hammers.
my team?
We got Alabama Hammers with
Push them
60
Indianapolis Knights.
3/4, and the Indianapolis Knights with 45. We got Rhode Island Rebels with 95 1/4, and Pennsylvania Bronzebacks with 67 3/4. Got a lot with no fish, and we got the Tar Heel Lunkers with 30 3/4.
3/4, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
So going back up there, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Lisa. I was looking.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just, let me go back over to what you had on the main screen real quick. Yeah, so Alabama Hammer's not sitting too far. They're not out of reach yet when it comes to up against the Indianapolis Knights.
Well, you haven't got
going-
Sam's fish uploaded yet either, right?
Right. Oh, here he is down
That's
here at the
assuming
bottom.
he's got it.
Yeah, so
Hey, he's back. Maybe. Oh, we got Zach
fish
with
on?
one.
You got Zach on.
Yeah, small one. I don't even know if it'll be 14. So. Nope. 12.
See if we can.
Are you letting go already?
What's that? Yeah. It was a 12-inch fish. I got a couple schools, or I'm sitting on top of the school right now, so I'm trying to get a line right back in on them. They were hitting it before it even hit the bottom, so those are the ones that I'm trying to target.
Jeremy, nobody's posted any fish for Louisiana or Arkansas. And we've added a couple more anglers here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now we got a full house. So good morning, those who just joined us. Let's see who we have here. We got a lot of names. I'm trying to push down through. So we got Steve Perry, Christopher Decker. We know we came on a few minutes ago. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dontrell Sullivan. Good morning.
Good morning.
So Dontrell, let's start with you. Am I saying that correctly, just to make sure? Dontrell.
Yes, that's it.
So, how's the fishing coming this morning for you? I think we're getting a little.
Adjust his mic a little bit and get some more sound out of there.
Yeah. So I know we got a lot of background on some of this. So let's see here. Focus on one. I try to listen up for the good morning back. So that way I know when I can hear from Chris and we can engage in them. Makes sense. You see my strategy for that, right? Because my hearing is gone over there. When I interrupt them and go and keep asking to repeat themselves over and over.
Right. I'm not sure which one is making all that noise, but
that was me opening my morning coffee.
see if we can get Sam back on here. Okay, now you're back.
You got me?
Let's see here.
Get one, Sam.
You guys got me?
Hang on, go back over here. I heard whoever just spoke up. I was on the scoreboard real quick. So I think Lisa already answered this. Jeremy asking about the Louisiana versus Arkansas score. There's no interest at this point. So And we got you. Whoever, whichever angler just asked that question, I heard you. I think Lisa heard it too. Oh, we got a fish on.
Mr.
All right,
Adam
Sam.
All
Patron.
right, let's go solo.
Oh, nice one, Sam.
Yes, sir,
Nice.
buddy.
There you go,
See,
buddy.
I think-
Good. Way to kick it in.
Good job, brother.
Oh, we got Nick with the fish. Hold on.
There you go. I'll let you take it, Lisa. Nick, you on?
16.75 here on the flopper.
All right, everybody wants to come on now, so we're at our.
I know, right?
11.
We're getting we need a wide screen. We're getting a nice packed house. Hey, good catch on that
Yeah,
one,
let's
Nick.
get rid of this Campbell here. You can see. Oh, that's part of the overlay. We can't get rid of that Campbell cilantro that's covered up.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from too, so that way we can try to minimize and be able to engage with the anglers. Oh, we got a fish on.
Yeah, just these little guys are all over the place right now.
Okay.
If I hold him like this,
hold him
though,
high.
he looks like
Keep
a Greg
proud.
Notar fish. No, he did really well pre-fishing, but yeah, like I was saying earlier, though, this lake, you can pre-fish all you want, but your bite depends on what these fish have in mind for the day.
Yeah, so we got to be able to read everything on them, including their minds.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be able to talk to them.
Good morning, Adam. Saying what's up, KFL, from the post there. Morning, Steve. I see you snuck in here. I looked down. I was like, oh, we have an irregular on.
Yeah, I figured I'd jump on while I'm just heading to another little spot. Got a somewhat of a pattern going. We can do a bunch of 12, 13-inch rigs. I did catch one keeper. A lot of small ones out this morning.
Yeah, it seems like that across the board too.
Kayak. We're starting to pick up a little on the wind now. Hopefully that'll help us out a bit.
I'm going to see if I can minimize some of the background noise here so I can focus on asking some questions real quick. Forgive me. So I'm going to be watching across the board. If I mute you and I see, I'm going to unmute you real quick. I only want to ask Steve if that's okay here. I'm trying process of elimination, Lisa, to try to figure out where we're.
Okay. Let's work.
Yeah, if you don't mind, help me keep an eye on when we get an angler up. If they get fish on, we can unmute. I think that's a little bit better. Hey, Steve, good morning. So you were saying just a second ago, a lot of little ones are out. What have you got this morning so far without having to go back to the board real quick to look?
I've got a 15 3/4. I probably caught 20 or 25, 12 or 13-inch fish. I've kind of found a pattern on them. I'm just trying to find the bigger ones.
Trying to dial on the big ones, you said?
Not looking up on the big fish just yet. So,
yeah. So that overcast.
Definitely a little pattern going. I can just find the big ones.
So right now, it seems like you're using bait cast. You're not finessing yet.
What's that?
Are you have you used finesse fishing this morning? It looks like I was looking to see what you were throwing.
That's actually what I'm doing now.
Is it? Okay. I don't have a full view on everything that you're throwing right now, but it sounds like if you're dialed in on those, when you get dialed in on those big ones, when you were doing pre-fishing, was it easy for you to get on them, or did you have to also search
No,
for them?
my last 2 days out here was horrible, which is bad because I fish this lake a lot and I generally do pretty well out here. But the last 2 days out here, I didn't do well at all. So we've had some post fronts coming through. The weather just wasn't right on Wednesday and Thursday of the days I was able to fish. So
Right.
I ended up with two small ones on Thursday all day out here. Wednesday I caught nothing out here. So I didn't really have a pattern coming in this morning with it, and I actually launched from a totally different spot than where I pre-fished at. So
Change it a little bit to see if you could double down on it, huh?
just trying to change it up, trying to hit all these little grassy points.
Do you have a little bit of chop on the water, a little wind?
What's that?
Do you have a little bit of chop on the water, a little wind, or is
Yep,
it?
the wind's picked up over the last 15, 20 minutes, so we've got a little southwest wind coming in. So had a fair amount of rain so far. We've gotten wet multiple times this morning. So.
No, it makes for an interesting day ahead of you then, especially trying to adapt to that.
Got a little update on the leaderboard. We got Pennsylvania Brownbacks with 116 and a quarter. Rhode Island Rebels aren't holding back. They got 95 and a quarter. Knights have 76 and 3/4, and the Alabama Hammers have 66 and 3/4.
Yeah.
So they're going back and forth. Washington and Motor City are still the same, and got the Cargill Lunkers down there by themselves, and nobody else is posted any fish. So
Starting to get a little dicey out here. Just had a boat roll through a full-on plane about 60 yards away.
it's always fun.
Was that you, Mike, that just said that? You said it's getting a little dicey out there?
No.
Zach said it.
No, that was
Zach?
me.
Zach said that?
Yep. Oh, here's a
I wasn't
good
looking at the
fish.
screen. I
Hopefully.
You can take it.
Oh,
Go
yes.
ahead.
Get in here.
I'm not, I think his thing's underneath mine. There we go.
Do you want me to do it? You got okay.
I got it. I think.
Okay. I just want to undo what you were just doing.
Now I clicked it. There it goes.
Yep. Get over here. Yes.
Got him?
Yep. He's a bigger one.
All right.
I mean,
Nice.
he's not those 20s I'm after, but he's bigger than the 16 I submitted.
Let's see what we got.
Oh wow,
That's
nice.
a gorgeous fish.
Hey, good fish, Zach.
Thanks, man. I watched him come up. They got some weeds laying over the top out here, and I watched him come up and a whole school of shad disperse. And I threw the bait in there, and he was right on it.
Wow. That is a beautiful fish.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hop off here and get a picture taken.
By all means, do your thing. Good job. Great catch. Great catch.
Thank you.
Don't let him go.
No. He's.
Not until
I
afterwards,
got a firm grip on his bottom lip right now.
Okay.
Got a bronze grip on him. I wanted to ask Nick before because I think Nick had caught one before, but I think he froze up on us.
Yeah, he
It's
looks
fine.
frozen.
So. And what's the other one we got here?
All right. He went 16 and a half. Looked a lot bigger than that.
Don't they always? They do. So one of my good buddies, Will Brewer, I'm sure you know, he gives me heck all the time because I have gigantic hands, and so when I'm measuring the fish or when I'm holding them up, it could be a 20 incher and they look like they're a 12 or 13 because I have, like I promise it's bigger. It really is. Just watch my mandibles. Yeah, I never look like that.
Zach, I think that puts y'all in the lead. So for now.
So if I may, real quick, let's see, pop up the leaderboard. I think I know which one it is. Actually, I'll wait. I don't want to screw anything up. I'm still learning the controls. I think I got it.
No, go ahead. Now's the time to.
That's why I wanted to, while we have a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I believe. Hang on. How do I do this here?
You should share it, and then I usually share the tab.
That is not what I wanted to do.
Oh, look at you. Hi.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Under just
down at the bottom.
Yeah, share screen. Yeah. Right.
Share, and then I usually do all the way to the right, the Chrome tab or whatever browser I guess you're using.
Yep.
And it will share whichever tab you have it on.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Looked like it was going to share.
Yeah, sorry, it booted me out there after I was after I jumped back in. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, these fish out here they fight a lot harder than their size. I mean, a 16 and a half, you're gonna fight, or it's gonna fight and feel like a 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just going to share an update real quick. So, Warhawks against the Ambassadors right now is sitting by only a margin of an inch. Knights against the Hammers, 81 1/4. Leading the Knights sitting at 76 3/4. Pennsylvania Bronzebacks, 116 1/4 against Rhode Island Rebels with 95 1/4. And I think we've got one more down here, and that is, Tar Heel Lunkers at 30 3/4. So just a quick update for everyone up there. All right.
Good.
Back to the action.
Little ones.
So yeah, Zach, you put your team in the lead for now.
All right. Well, I'm just waiting for them to get. They must still be paddling to their spot, apparently.
Yeah.
It's been a tough bite. I've been watching some of the bass boats around me, and I haven't even really seen those guys, and they're sitting here staring at me like trying to figure out what I'm throwing. But I mean, I think that's number 5, but 2 of those fish were not even measurable. So yeah, it's what I expected it to be this morning. So. was gonna say, at one point during pre-fishing, I came out here and I was out in 16 to 17 feet, and I had fish blowing up on top water because there's these little grass pads that it's just dead grass that's floating on top, and there's shed that are hanging out right underneath of them. And I saw one of the biggest smallmouth I've ever seen out here blow up and jump out of the water. And I tried to throw everything I could grab on the 6 rods I carry with me. You know, everything I had tied on, I grabbed and tried to throw at him, and he just didn't turn around.
That's because he had just got his morning breakfast there. When he jumped out, that's what he got, huh? I can't stand that either. Throwing after, you throw everything you can, including the kitchen sink, and you can't get him to bite anything.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, I didn't even think about, like, I was on the phone with Jeff. Me and him, we were talking pretty much that whole time I was pre-fishing that. And I'm like, man, I can't get him to bite anything. He goes, did you throw a fluke at him? And I go, no, I left those in my truck. And he goes, oh, I would throw one of those. I'm like, yeah, I'll bring some tomorrow. But you know, I mean, there's enough of a chop right now that I don't really think a fluke is gonna do anything at this point. I'm still fishing the bottom at this point, just giving a really exaggerated yank up off the bottom, and I'm getting fish that are chasing it right up.
I think you have a good fish finder or Navionics to show you what's going on if they're chasing it, huh?
No, I don't have the live scan or anything, but I mean, I'm more just, I see them down there and I know that.
Oh, the clarity, that's right.
You know, oh yeah, it's that clarity. Like I said, I'm in 15 feet and I can't see the bottom, but if there's any taller weeds that are sticking up, you can see them.
Wow.
And it's not even, you know, that sun's not even high right now either. We're still kind of overcast here. About another 15 minutes and that sun's going to come right back out.
We've got a place like that around here where it's just crystal clear. Sometimes it gets to, 80 plus feet. There's a reservoir here. But the alkalinity of the water is so high, you can see 25, 30 feet down. I mean, it's incredible. And it makes for the worst fishing. You can't catch anything. Like,
yeah,
you have to go down to 8 pounds. Even if you had the chance to go down to 6 pounds, I mean, I've never fished anything, that thin, but it's bad. But there are guys who go out there and they catch them. I don't know how they do it. They catch some big ones.
Throwing fly rods.
Pretty much. I don't even have a rod that could support that light of weight.
Yeah.
I have no ultralights, none.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much, I brought 6 rods with me today, but with the knowing that if the bite that I had all day the other day holds out, I'm going to have 1 rod in my hand pretty much all day.
Yeah, finessing it all the way. Right?
Yeah, just a finesse rod all day. And
so have you found that your color choices, if you don't mind me asking, and you don't have to share, but your color choices on your lures, I mean, obviously natural or going somewhat transparent or smaller, how has that affected your game plan as far as approaching today and the clarity that you have?
Today hasn't really affected anything that I don't do. The color that I'm using right now, I probably had 30 to 40 of them already because it's a color that I throw pretty much everywhere I go up by us. It is a natural color. But it's one of my favorite colors to throw in Michigan just because it's got everything that represents our bait here.
Sure.
Sure.
I mean,
actually, I think it's the same bait that I caught my big one on Fletcher's with, actually. And so to go from an inland largemouth lake that is complete weed beds and real shallow, and like Sam and Mike, they know about that, and to go from there and then to here and be able to throw that same bait and catch fish, it works So
it's very versatile.
yeah, yep. And I don't think it's so much, how I'm doing it by any means. It's just, I think a lot of guys, it's not a secret. I like to throw Ned rigs. Everybody knows that. And, you come to Michigan and everybody seems to think it's a big secret that I throw Ned rigs, but it's not. And, that's just my go-to thing. And when it comes to Lake St. Clair, it works. Works for me at least.
No, for sure. Everyone's to each their own. Everyone has their thing.
Oh yeah.
I love finesse fishing. It's one of my strengths I have, only because I had to develop that because nothing else was working. And then when you get that confidence in something. So if you do throw, you happen to get that monster, you're like, oh, I'm on it now. I'm going to focus in on this. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, all right. I'm going to start developing, start to change up a little bit. That's exactly what I started to do. And man, are we on? Sounds like you are.
Yep, it's a decent one too. Stay down there.
Yeah.
Don't know. Oh,
Oh,
I did not want him to jump, and he jumped.
I'm sorry.
I knew I didn't get a good hook. I knew I didn't get a good hook on him because he was down in the weeds, and I barely popped it out of the weeds, and I just felt it start moving to the side, and it wasn't enough to get a good hook set on him. So, but hey, at least they're here now. But he wasn't.
Sure,
he wasn't anything that's gonna break any records, but he definitely would have helped.
Well, he was ringing the bells. Saying,
yeah,
you hear that bell ringing in the.
I might have to tighten. I might have to tighten that up a little bit. I've been running it pretty low because these fish here, as soon as they take the bait and you set the hook, they run. And if you've got it over tightened at all, that you can snap off
that line. Yeah.
No matter what line you're running, some of these fish, they take off, and especially fishing around rocks and weeds and stuff like that. They take off, and you've got it too tight. You're not getting them.
That's why I fish with straight braid.
Yeah.
But down here in Texas, you don't have that water clarity, so it doesn't affect them that much.
Yeah.
Smallmouth, catfish, walleye. Couple little bass. Yeah.
Throwing them back in or you keeping them?
Nah, I'm throwing them back in. I don't want to eat anything out of here.
CNR, Chris. CNR, huh?
It's a way to get people to quit.
Hey, you gotta. Yeah, that's right. Got the audience over there.
I'm fishing next to like the busiest walking path I could be. Hey, what are you doing out there? Oh, well, I'm fishing.
Yeah.
Well, there's my bait on my hook. Oh no, there he is. This is what I'm looking for to keep the smallies close.
Awesome.
I get it.
Oh,
I get it. Was that little thing that made all that noise just now?
No.
I was like,
did you hear that too? I was like, who's on? Who's on?
Yeah, I heard that, but that was after that little guy was already in the water. So.
I didn't see anybody fall in, so.
Yeah.
Everybody got all your rods?
Right?
Everybody's still on top, huh? Yeah, to this day, because I've lost a rod like that where the wind pushed me into the trees, and as I was pulling myself out, I heard a splash, and I looked back, I'm like, oh my God, I know it. Before I even knew it, it wasn't a fish, it was a rod going right, bye-bye.
We had one of our guys, and I won't say names, I'll let him decide if he's going to say it later, if he jumps on, but he lost about a $300 rod yesterday.
Oh.
And and we felt terrible for him, but you gotta give him a hard time at least. And he was cool about it. He's got some extras.
That's why we have insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think I'm kidding?
That's why
I have
that's why
insurance,
that's why I just don't use the expensive ones.
huh? No.
I
mean,
put my rods through too much.
I'm in the process of getting insurance on everything, but I've been slacking, and the insurance person is not on their game either, so they're not keeping up with me, and I haven't done
boy,
it, but I've lost some, broke some, and
I know how it goes. I look at it like this: everyone knows how expensive fishing is, especially when you start to get the rods and reel setups that are just prime for you. For me, I only fish Shimano. That's not to say the rods are all Shimano. Like I love my Dobbins, but when you start spending $300-400 on a reel, and that's just the reel, how can you not have insurance on that kind of thing? I don't care if the deductible is $200, $250. I'm going to have insurance and everything to include the kayak. So because you got the motor, the kayak, you're talking a $10,000 setup if you have everything loaded up on there. So there's no way in heck I'm not going to.
Shimano is amazing.
Yeah.
Their reels.
And I'm sorry.
I said Shimano.
I always get.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I always get people asking me. They're like, "Oh, how much?" Because I got a PA 14, and I live in the middle of nowhere up here in Michigan, and I'll go to a local lake, and they're like, "Oh, how much is that thing run?" And I'm telling them, and I'm like, "Well, without any of the stuff I put on there, you're looking at about $5,000." And I'm like, once you got it the way mine is, oh, you a fish? Once you get it the way mine is, then yeah, you're talking that 7 to 10, depending on what you got running that day.
Oh, at a minimum, yeah. And I just realized when I said that number out loud, I felt this gaze coming from my right side. I looked over, my wife is like,
No,
did I say
not
10
mine.
grand? I meant $100, boo.
Well, my wife fishes too, so she knows.
Yeah,
She actually's got we got her a PA 12 last year, and I mean she fished a lot of like our local trails and stuff with me, but so she knows how much I spend, unfortunately.
No, that's a good thing. You don't have to lie.
That's right. That's right. Full transparency.
Conversation.
This is just a replacement rod. They sent it to me.
Yeah.
Hold on, can I add something to this conversation?
Yes. Go ahead, Chris.
My girlfriend is watching. Gabby, I don't spend that much money, okay?
Nice. I like it.
I had to mute myself for a second because I think there was a delivery driver and my dog was out barking, but I absolutely agree, Chris.
Look, I'm paddling. I don't spend that much.
I just got a really expensive fishing package, and it's ironic.
Oh, Chris is gone now. I have
We all do.
So, depending on which one I'm using that day, depends on how much money I got on the water.
It definitely it's funny how just one setup can sway $1,000 or $2,000 in one direction or the other, and that's not even including the boxes. If I open a box at any given time, and I'm sure Zach, you can attest to this, or even Chris, you guys too. You pull out a box and look at Dontrell. Case in point, right there, right? You open that box up, you have some lures that run $300-400 per lure, especially if they're designed. If we're talking a swim bait, if you're going with one of the big time ones, if it's a UFO or if it's a Piz, I'm not talking your standard Berkeley, running the line. Now, granted, listen, you're still going to have, it's great quality. You're still going to have a whole bunch of those in your bag. But if you lose that bag, that's a lot of money. Tungsten is not cheap, right?
Yeah.
I lost an entire.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us? Oh, I'm sorry.
Who said that?
But you got, Lisa, you were saying what?
I said I lost an entire jig box I was pulling my kayak up on a trailer and it was on a lake that didn't really have a boat ramp, so it was a little difficult. And my crate fell out, and I thought I got everything back, but my jig box was not in there. And anybody that knows me knows that I don't really throw jigs, but I bring them with me just in case nothing else is working. And I mean, it had to have been at least 25 jigs in there.
And you think about how much each one of those jigs run.
Yeah. Well, see, the good thing about that is I have a wonderful boyfriend who buys a lot of things.
Oh, nice.
So
That's good.
he
That's
had
good.
bought all of those, but I also had extras, so I had a backup because I throw jigs all the time. Not really, but I can't
What?
fish a jig. It's just too slow and it drives me crazy.
Oh, Lisa, you would hate St. Clair then.
Yeah. You don't look like you're fishing all that slow.
I swim bait a lot of my jigs.
Yeah.
So that's the thing too, right? So fishing a jig, it's not that slow. If you're just hitting a lay down and you're trying to work that lay down, that's one thing. I get it. But if you have that trolling motor on and you're doing just a nice steady troll and you're just hitting up and down the bank, I mean, it's not that bad. To be honest, I would think drop shot for me would actually be a little bit slower. Like I
power fish my drop shot. I have a heavy weight on it and I throw it out really far and then I just pop it and reel it in and I do not do it slow at all.
Well, see, that's the
cranking on them.
That's the thing about the jig, right? Like you can fish that any way you want. That's why it's so versatile. It's the ATV of bass fishing. You can fish it super finesse. You can fish it shallow. You can swim it. You can hop it. You can throw it in the heavy cover. Like, that's what's great about a jig.
Well, the first time my boyfriend brought me bass fishing, which was the first time that I've ever actually targeted bass, I caught my first bass on a jig.
Oh, you did? Well, that should be your go-to then. That's your good luck lure right there.
Right?
I mean, do you throw a bladed jig?
Yeah.
There you go.
Same thing.
But I fished it really fast.
You're fast fishing the jig. He's got a point. He's got a good point.
Okay, well, I'll give it a try the next time I'm out. And if I catch something, I'm going to be mad at everybody.
Especially if you're talking a bladed jig, when Z-Man had the patent on the way it connects to the blade, that forced everyone else in the industry to have to change their game up. And that's why you have click baits, and that's why you have all the other baits that go along with that in that same genre. But still, either way, bladed bait or bladed jig is still a jig. Jig, bladed jig.
And that's what my boyfriend keeps telling me, and I'm like, I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's because it's the appearance, right? I get it. I get it, especially with the trailers. So, hey, so good morning, Mike. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, guys.
How's the fishing for you this morning?
How are you all doing?
Good.
What's that?
How's the fishing for you this morning?
A couple bites. It hasn't been fast and furious. I thought it'd be a little better with a little bit of low pressure moving up. We've had some rain off and on, but it's a little difficult this morning. We haven't really got a pattern yet, so still searching for that. But we'll get on them. Not worried about it.
I don't think you're alone right now when it comes to that. What are you saying, Lisa? I'm sorry.
On the leaderboard, we got Arkansas Hogs got 21 inches, and Louisiana Hurricanes got 14. So they finally put some fish up.
That's good. That's good. Lisa, I'm going to step away for just 1 second, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Corey Hopper with the Arkansas Hogs got a 21-inch fish.
Nice fish.
Yeah, and Brad Case with the Hurricanes is the one with the 14. Nasty water. Yeah, Jeremy Baker, it is out of the price range, but when you start out and you start with just the kayak and you just add slowly and slowly, that price starts going up a lot. Steve, is it raining where you're at?
It is.
Okay, it looked like you had a raincoat on. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. That's why I had to leave just a second ago. I seen it coming across the water, so I want to get my phone up before the bottom fell out again.
So who do you fish for, Steve? I don't. There's way too many teams and too many players for me to know all this. Steve, did you hear me? You must not be able to hear me. All right, we'll do a little screen share here with the leaderboard and go through everybody's. All right. Go back here. Okay, we got Motor City Ambassadors with 62 3/4. Washington Warhawks with 46. Alabama Hammers 96 1/4 with the Indianapolis Knights with 76 3/4. Rhode Island Rebels with 95 1/4. Pennsylvania Bronzebacks with 116 1/4. Arkansas Hogs with 21, but I think they're about to add a fish. And Louisiana Hurricanes with 14.
Hey, Lisa,
Yes,
you said we got 67 now.
yes,
Who submitted our
76.
76? Who submitted the other ones?
Let's see.
Just see, so I know where the fish are biting.
You.
I think I had 3.
Mike Elsey.
Wrong team.
Ryan,
I was gonna say Mike Elsie's not. It's for Motor City.
No, I clicked on. Let's see. Huh.
Elsie, you're fishing for us now?
When we make that trade?
When we make that trade?
Didn't even know it.
It's on the Indianapolis Knights one, so he might want to go check that.
Okay.
Because I have, if you can see my screen, am I still sharing it? Yeah. So
Yeah,
on the Indianapolis Knights fish, it's his name. Mike
Yeah,
Elsey.
Mike is on Indianapolis. I was asking about Motor City.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. You're good. No, I just was wondering who caught our other ones because that'll tell me where the fish
You
are
were
biting at.
talking and you sound a lot like Sam, and I wasn't looking at the screen. So, okay, let's see. Motor City.
Darn it, Zach! I thought we could share our team's fish with each other for a minute.
Right? it's that Northeast connection here,
Right.
or Midwest connection.
Zach. Jeremy Baker.
Good. I'm happy he's on fish because he's in a big number, he's in a meat area. We're hoping that he can just put up big sizes. We didn't expect many numbers from him up there, but he's definitely in a spot that holds big fish. They're just a lot harder to catch.
Okay. Stop sharing. Get everybody else back on the screen. We got Mr. Greg Nozar here.
Good
I
morning.
didn't even see him pop in. You sneaky.
How are y'all? Yeah. Y'all doing
Good.
okay?
Uh-huh. See you're
Yeah.
out there catching fish this morning.
Yeah, small ones though.
Greg, I lost a monster.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, it was probably an 18-19, but it jumped right next to me, and I was trying to keep it down, and she jumped and spit the hook right back at me.
An 18-19 today is good, dude.
Yeah,
It's been a struggle, man.
it's early.
It is. It is.
So how's your morning
Eric
going
lost
so
a
far,
monster.
Greg?
It's going okay. As I said, it's been a struggle. I mean, we're not on big fish by any means, but we're just trying to fill up the board right now and see what we got, man. Eric Siddiqui's on fish a little bit. He lost a monster too, and we'll just have to see what happens, man. Water.
Did you say Eric Siddiqui?
Water's calm
He's on your
today.
team?
Yeah. Siddiqui's fishing with us today, so we'll see what happens. Got the line wrapped around the old motor. That's always fun.
Another benefit to using your legs.
I don't know.
I can't use my legs
had in my
anymore.
drive before, so
I can't use my legs anymore. I break stuff.
Yeah. You're just so strong, Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
okay. Well, let's get talking about fishing. Greg's legs.
My legs are fishing.
Okay.
Zach, I got to ask you a question.
What's up?
Are you out here right 15 feet 9 mile?
No,
Okay.
Can y'all hear
There's
me?
I am.
See me?
I am by myself. I do not see another boat for miles other than this freighter that's coming through the main channel.
Say what?
I said I don't see another boat for miles other than the freighters going through the main channel right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Because, I was like, there's 2 kayaks out here sitting 15 feet. And I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Yep, there's a fish. Oh, yes. Come on. Greg, you might want to look away.
We ain't scared.
Well, you might be soon.
I ain't scared. Trust me.
I got him on the big screen, so you can look now.
Come on, baby. Come on. I'll be nice. There we go.
There you go.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Ooh, beautiful.
That is a nice one. Good one.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'll be back.
Okay.
Hey,
Morning, Greg.
Hey, is this Jim?
It is.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
How you doing? It's good to talk to you again.
I know, man.
You know, fellow co-host.
Thanks for hopping on this morning, man.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm trying to live up to your standards and expectations, both you and Lisa.
I have very little expectations, man.
I have very low expectations also.
Very little, man.
How's the fishing going for you this morning? I'm watching on the leaderboards here.
Yeah, I mean it's not great. I mean we're putting up numbers, but there's nothing big yet, man. So we're just gonna see what happens. I'm just trying different depths, different areas, man, to see what's going on. So
right. Yeah, I understand water clarity is pretty good.
Oh, it's crystal clear, man. Crystal clear. For sure.
So have you had to change a game plan up because of the clarity of the water and how far down you can see what's the overcast?
Honestly, Jim, no. I mean, this is what we've been fishing all week, man. So no change at all. We're just gonna try to find structure, bud. So
yeah, moving further.
Hey, Greg, am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
We got you, buddy.
There's the belly on that girl.
Oh my God. Was that?
There's the belly for
real quick. I'll put you on solo. Let's see if I can do this real quick.
18
Let's see it
and a
again.
half.
One more time. Let's see the belly real quick.
Very good.
Wow.
Very good.
Wow.
Hey,
But yeah, 18 and a half.
I'm just popping on it.
Get her
Eric,
back down there.
Eric Siddiqui's calling me. That means something's going. I'll try to get on here later. All right.
All right.
See ya.
Best of luck, buddy.
Thanks, guys.